Hey, what's up guys? I have an update for my 2025 pedal board, and I'm going to show you guys, essentially, it's not changed terribly much from my last board, but it's changed a little bit, and I think you guys are going to like it a lot. It's years and years and years of studying and accumulating pedals and pedal knowledge. I wouldn't say I'm a novice anymore when it comes to pedal boards. I definitely have made my dues and figured out what I like, what works best for me, and what works best for me might not work best for you, but maybe you can learn something from this video and essentially see what you like. So, to start out the signal chain, we have a wah. So, one of the things I wanted to do to start with the video is just get right into the sounds, no playing intros, because I find playing intros very annoying. A lot of the guitar channels do that to kind of showcase their talents. I'm not going to do that for this video. But the RMC 10, I believe it is, wah, great. I had it from Analog Man modded so that it has an LED light, which is super useful so you know when it's on and when it's off. So the other thing we have is the Octarus from Jam Pedals. I love that pedal. I think it's the best Octafuzz. I had the full tone Octafuzz for a while. Obviously full tone pedals got discontinued and then recontinued again. But that pedal, it used to fall apart all the time. This one, it doesn't fall apart. It doesn't have those weird hooks that the full tone one had. And I think it's just, everything Jam makes is so high quality, but their custom shop stuff that they have with the leather on it, I mean, just exceptional. And then the two pedals that I use a ton is the Fuzz phrase here from Jam that's also similarly to it. So it's just that gnarly fuzz, really ripping. Love that sound. And then the Superfuzz, it's like in between those two, you know, like which I use the most, you know, depending on the night, but the Superfuzz. And that's from Black Cat pedals that also got discontinued. And the nice thing too about the Superfuzz too is you can kind of put it in the neck position, right? And then you can kind of like get a little octave in there too. So find the Superfuzz would be really great. Then I have the Canvas tuner from Walrus Audio. Love the thing. It's great because it has those top mount jacks, which I definitely prefer, so you can get the pedals in a little more. And I did have the Polytune for quite a while, but that Polytune, it's harder with those mini pedals to keep them staying on the board, so it's better to get a top mount jack where it's smaller on the board instead of getting something that is has two side jacks on it, but it's one of those mini tuner pedals. Those things will come off a little more. And for the whole board, I do use chocks for the power supply. I have multiple chocks power units, and then I also have the dual lock on it. A dual lock, I used Velcro for years. Velcro is not the way to go. It's not the solution. You want to use dual lock. It's always going to be the way to go with this situation. And then we're at the Chase Bliss Automatone Preamp Mark II. It's essentially every gain and thing you could think of in one pedal. I didn't want it on my board for a while, but I love the clone sound. And I had KTRs and clone clones and all these things where it's just giving you that little more oomph when you're playing. But I couldn't find anything that was really reliable. The KTR is not really a reliable pedal, well built, and a lot of the clones I wasn't vibing with as much. But the sounds, every sound that comes from it, the fuzz, the gain you get, you know. So it's just something you can always sort of leave on. You can use as an EQ, a fuzz, all these different things. And I still think you can get them online right now, even though they were discontinued. It's one of the best pedals Chase Bliss has ever made. And then we have the King of Tone. This has been on my board the longest of any of the pedals on here. You can kind of get a blues breaker sound or the modded blues breaker sound on the right. I just think it's such a great gain pedal, super useful. I love the King of Tone, worth the waiting list to get it if you can. And then I have an original Harmita Audio Zendrive. Great for those leads. So yeah, the newer ones are not going to be nearly as good as the older Harmita Audio Zendrives. I definitely have a preference for the old one. There's something about it that is just really fantastic, and I don't know what they did in the original versus the new, but it's going to give you that dumbly lead crunch that I love. And then after that we have the integrated gate from Free the Tone. It's a noise reduction and noise gate. I leave it on all the time because in particular you can hear like the amp will have a little more noise and stuff sometimes, and then other times not so bad. However, with this one, it's a noise gate that doesn't affect the dynamics of your playing. So a lot of noise gates, they affect the dynamics, they affect your tone and the feel of the playing, but because he made a digitally controlled analog noise gate, it doesn't seem to affect the sound. I've played it back and forth and I don't hear any difference in terms of like, is it taking away my dynamics or my playing, which it seems to not do. And then we also have the Cali 76 from Origin. So that's just a great compressor. You can use it as a stack compressor where this particular version at least is the stacked edition. So it's going to allow you to stack two compressors as one. You can use it in very heavy compression or very light compression, which is why I love it so much. Best compressor on the market by far, I think. And then we have the Free the Tone programmable analog 10-band EQ. So I'll use it for like a mid boost, a treble boost. I have it set for like a bass cut treble boost. And then like lo-fi. I do have other great settings on it, but I use an EQ pedal all the time. Highly recommend EQ pedals. I think the Free the Tone one knocks it out of the park because I had the Source Audio one, which was great for what it is, but it seemed to have this weird effect on the fuzzes and stuff because it is a digital pedal. It's converting your signal from analog to digital. This one is completely analog, but it has that digital feel where you can program the different sounds that you want out of it, which I think is really great. And then we also have the Arigato from Caroline, which is a phaser, and so that's kind of how I would use that one in particular. You can affect the speed and everything. It does have a vibrato setting, which is also pretty cool. And then we have the Analog Man Bichorus, which I love because you can kind of get that chorusy sound. And then you can also get a rotary sound, which is also really helpful. So yeah, love the Bichorus, probably my favorite modulation. And then we have the Analoger AFG1. This is from Asheville Music Tools, their Flanger. Don't need to use Flanger all the time, but it is nice to have one. And then the T3 Tremolo from Oiko. So this is a triple photocell tremolo, so I kind of like that sound. And you can change it to a harmonic tremolo, which is also really nice. That's one of the things you want to try to have is a harmonic. And we have the Analoger ADG1 from Asheville Music Tools too. And it's just a great bucket brigade. So you can kind of do anything you want with a bucket brigade sound. Adjust it to get some weird. And put it on one bucket brigade, so you have just one bucket brigade versus two bucket brigades. And then we have the hologram Chroma console, which I know has been very hyped from people online, but for very good reason. Some of my favorite stuff are like the pitch effect. And I'm a really big fan of the vibrato, one of the best vibrato sounds on here. And then the other effect I really love is the reverse. I already use reverse a lot, but on here it's one of the best. So yeah, super useful, very cool pedal, the Chroma console. Definitely my favorite multi-effects unit out there, and hologram makes some great quality stuff, so can't complain about that pedal. And then one of my other favorites, my digital delay, the Free the Tone Future Factory, which I like for that delay a lot. That's a 300 millisecond one. Then I have some other settings like this. And this is like a slapback. Yeah, so that's it for that one. And then we have the context reverb from Red Panda, which I have on just a hall reverb. I almost always just leave the hall reverb on, but we do have some other ones like the Cathedral that you can go up and get some really ambient kind of reverbs that are a little dreamy sounding. last but not least, the little dual from Lele that goes in. So I usually am running a deluxe reverb with a Celestion Vintage 30 and then a high watt amplifier with it, so I can run a dual amp setup. I prefer having a dual amp setup. I think it sounds better when you play with that, and I would prefer lots of different dual amplifiers, but in particular I really like the deluxe and high watt with it because of the clean and the crunch that I get from them. Great pedal platforms. And then the little dual from Lele, the reason why I chose it is because it has a transformer, so you're not going to get that ground hum from running two amplifiers together, and it has a phase reversal, so great quality product, and obviously you can use it with any two amplifiers you want, so that's a great addition. And yeah, there's nothing else to go over. That's pretty much the board. So let me know if you have any comments or questions below. I'm sorry I can't edit and get like multiple camera angles and things to make this video like truly professional and stuff, but I'm using a great quality camera. I'm giving you great quality information, and I hope that that's enough to make you give me a subscription, or you can at least leave me a like on the video. That would be very much appreciated for the effort I put into all this. So I hope you guys have a good one, and thank you if you got all the way to the end. I appreciate it. Have a good one.